Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people of goodwill. I just don't know where you're getting this podcast from, but I'm super excited, but sober at the same time, as I'll be sharing this topic, the unsung heroes. You see, if you're joining me for the first time, this is Paul Simon Piri Mzakazi Wambuye. I'm a podcaster and I've been hosting this program for quite some time now. The segment is Tikambe with Paul, and we are on the 8th episode, which is the Unsung Heroes. And I will just advise you to follow the previous episode that we've released so that you are up to date with everything that we have been discussing so far. And I welcome you today, this beautiful Sunday. I want to welcome you to this topic, the unsung heroes. So before we dive into the topic a little bit more in details, I will ask you to subscribe, like, share, and comment on the video, and ensure you stay on this space until the end. Now, to those of you that were able to see the intro advert that we made regarding or in relation to this topic, it is somewhere where a woman was shaming the man. Ndimwamuna imwe. Are you a man? You are bringing 600, that is in Zambian kwacha though. You are bringing such kind of man, and 600 Zambian currency is less man actually. So that is metaphorical in its nature, because what that woman was just trying to imply is that you're just bringing change at home and you're a family man. So what kind of a man are you when in other places other men are doing far more greater, So that is the highest level to which you can downgrade a man. Now you see, why have I framed such a topic as the unsung heroes? I remember back then in 2018, I was so much interested in reading, but also writing about men and fatherhood, to be specific. So I went through this bookstore just to try to dive a little bit in a number of literature, so that I can frame my idea of what I wanted to bring out, but also by comparing other literature that were out there. So I entered in this bookstore, which I'll not mention the name. I moved from section to section, and I wasn't finding something satisfactory that is directly relating to men. So I had to call the attendant to help me. Maybe I'm not seeing properly where I can find a book that talks about men specific. So time and again, we moved around until we find something that was almost. And I'm using the word almost. It was almost that book, but it wasn't really the actual book that I needed. But anyway, I just had to buy that one to see if I would be able to find what I wanted. 50%, it didn't meet my expectation, and I was left wondering. And I also don't know if you have also reached a certain point where you look at the television. Most of the TV adverts are praising the woman figure. I have been also being philosophical with this question to say, which day is more louder between Mother's Day and Father's Day? You discover that Mother's Day is more louder than Father's Day actually. Right now, when you have to put your children, about 90%, the children are familiar with the mother than with the father. Society these days sympathizes more with the woman than with a man. In extreme cases, if I want to be extreme, if there's a certain breakup, it is always a man's fault. Mostly, it's a man's fault. They don't look at the side of a man, the unsung heroes. But you see, I am not blind to the blunder and to the mistakes that the men have done, or the things that they've made, which are not correct. But again, I want us to flip the coin on the other side of these men. A man is a foundation, but also is the head. Okay? No matter how much we can demonstrate that we do not need a man because we have reached a certain phase in life where we feel we can do away with a man because I can pay the bills, because I can do what a man does or do, then I think I'm better off. So there's a certain way in which a man slowly, little by little, is being taken away of the picture. But no matter how, and I'm saying this with a lot of respect, and I know a lot of people not agree with me, no matter how precious a hero, a woman might be in your life, you need a man. Now, when I mean a man, I must also even connect it with a father. No matter how precious and good a mother has been to you, she cannot be your father. Because the grace that is bestowed about a man and the grace that is bestowed about a woman, they're different. And these people, they orient their roles more and more different. Now, you look at a man. I'm going to give you simple analysis of a woman and that of a man. Mostly, I do agree and I sympathize with the woman, with the women folk, which most of the time they do say it is tough to be a woman. But I'm going to tell you that it is more tougher to be a man as well. And these are the side, not because I am the one who is a man who is giving this podcast, but I just want you to look at certain things a little bit in a different way, actually. One of the things is, us men, we do not help something. We start something. We always start something. Okay? And I want to give this illustration in this simplest way. You see, when a man and a woman, for example, they are dating and the relationship happen not to work out and they separate, one or the other, it is very easy for a woman to jump into another relationship. But it is going to take long for a man to get in a relationship. Some of the reasons are simple. Number one, a man would have to start again from the scratch because we are creators. So it's not easy to be a creator because you have to start something from the foundation, to break something from the foundation, elevate it to where it's supposed to be, then you can begin to feel its impact and its fruits. Now, how long does that take? Society these days would tell you that I need a man who drives. I need a man with a fat pocket. I need a man who is able to do one or two things. Now, this is a man, for example, that has got everything that it takes to be a husband, to be a father. But simply because he doesn't have that which society has projected on him, then that man is going to be rejected. A man has been more on the silent phase of things. It's rare. I'm also a public speaker. And probably to some extent, I'm guilty of that. Most of our achievement, we attribute them. I want to thank my mother for being around. Few that will mention that I want to thank my father for being around. Now, today, I want us to separate all the blunder and everything that our men and our fathers have done. I want us to look at these men who are creators. Because the role of a man is not loud. It is silent. Them, they're based on the creation. They are on the formation basis. And that is why sometimes you hear the role of Joseph being silent. It is silent for obvious reason because the role of a man is not being loud. It's not that you, at the end of the day, you get a reward. That at the end of the day, you do that. Actually, if you look at a man will wake up in the morning, have 3 or 4 jobs. Actually, in other countries, people have got 3 jobs. They'll go there, spend the night, come in the morning, do another job, they provide school fees, food, and everything is at home. And they will never mention it at any point. If you find such a man, I think that's a weak man. A man that always calculates the bills and always say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's a weak man. A real man, and the way we have shamed a man to society, a man who just do their role and keep quiet. They will always sink in there. That is why sometimes appreciating a man doesn't mean that we're making them weak. Sometimes they need that. Sometimes we need that. Because our work doesn't mind us to be noticed. The role of a man is never noticed. How many of you, when you're admiring a building, do admire the foundation? You don't. But the foundation is there. This beautiful structure that you're admiring, it is seated on a particular foundation, and that foundation is a man. Some of us, we got to appreciate that this family is doing well. These children are well-mannered. But we don't know how much this man sit down, build these people, imbued the attributes, the skills, and the virtues that the children have. But a man will never mention that. I hope we're getting somewhere. This is what makes these men the unsung heroes. You just don't know. Women, you just don't know the insults that these men go through, the humiliation, the shame that these men go through, so that they can come with something at home. The least, at least, that you can do is, thank you, my husband, you are trying. But what do we do most of the time? Is this the money you can bring? Is this all you got as a man? And there is a way in which we have begun to shame men, in the sense that we begin to tell them, can you be a man enough? Yeah, I know not all men are men enough, with all due respect. But trust me, there are certain men that from the little income they earn, they are able to balance things at home. And the home is moving, and this man is giving you all the love and is available for the children. But because there are many voices there in society that are telling us that a man should have a Hilux, a man should have this by this age a man should have done that, they end up being depressed and unappreciated and not feeling enough. I am more convinced more than ever that we have destroyed the men, in the sense that there is a certain expectation that we have given them, and this expectation is very hard for these men to attain. And simply because they are not attaining that, then they are not men enough. And so that is why you discover that the majority of suicide are men. They just don't tell you. The majority of people that are depressed are men. They just don't talk about it. Because that is our nature. We don't talk about it. As a man, you have to be strong. Mamuna Samarida. As a man, you just have to be strong. But have you ever at any point asked us how much things break us? I want you to imagine this is a man who has a vision. This is a man who has got a dream to achieve certain things. But things are just not working out in his favor. He's turning in his 30s. He's turning in his late 30s. He's going in his late 40s. And things are just not working out. Have you ever seen a man that is seeing the mother or the father getting older and they have never even built a house for them? Do you imagine how they feel? Do you imagine the burden, the debts, the mathematics they have to carry so that at least by going back home, they have to go with bread or something? But what do we do? What do we do? A man should have swagger. A man should have this. This man is not well dressed. And I'm not saying that men should be careless in dressing. But I'm going to discover that men go through a lot of things that they don't even mention or talk about. And this is a message to the women. And I don't want to sound disrespectful. And this is where I always say, a real woman, you are going to sit your man and look in his eyes and tell him you are trying more than enough. To us, sometimes that is just more than enough. That is what we are wired for. But you are going to count that in 365 days in a year, all that we do 3/4 is to criticize the men. It is just to ask them that you are just seated the whole day. You are just doing nothing. Whereas your friend are just moving up and down. Come on. Do you ask them the demons that they face? Do you ask them the silence? And if there are people that fight silent demons, Amen. And I know to some extent women are going to argue, women are going to say, oh, this, no. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stand on this. I sit in counseling for a longer period of time, sometimes an open discussion with men. Men go through a lot than we can imagine. Because we have been told that as a man, you have to wear big pants, stand up and go and be strong. But then have you ever sat at one point to say, okay, this man that every time silently, he comes in the morning, he comes in the evening, silently, he's not even talking to anyone. And he's just by himself thinking, crying in his heart. And actually I want to tell you, on a scale, a lot of men cry in their hearts, but they're going to give you a smile. And actually, they can be crying in their heart, but they are going to smile at you. The unsung heroes. But do we see all those things? No, we don't. No, we don't. And the worst injustice that our mothers, the women, they have done to these men is telling them that, you see, your father is not trying enough. So you guys, when you go to school, make sure you do more than your father. Really? No, your father doesn't love you. You see, he didn't even get you anything for your birthday. But look, this is a man, every day goes in the morning to go and work, but at least he's trying to pay rent. You guys who don't starve, he's trying his best. Is it necessary to tell the children that swakukondana tatevan? The unsung heroes. You see, I want to go to this extreme of saying one of the reasons why we are paying for karma as a people is because there's a certain gender that we have not treated right. And one of them are the men. You see, one of the reasons why women, you are not finding luck in your relationship or in your marriage is because there's a certain man who tried his best to be at his best, but to shame this man and made him think like he's not a man enough. And you left him for someone with a higher status and a higher value. Do you think the cry of that man is going to leave you like that? When in our families have we sat, it's not his birthday, but we just prepare his favorite meal and just say, Daddy, sweetheart, our man of the house, we just want to say thank you for what you have been doing. Some of us in our families who have got male firstborns, those are also men. They are doing their best. How much and how many times have you picked a call to them and tell them, you know what, thank you for everything you have been doing? But I think there's a problem with us human beings. We have a very short memory. Sorry, respectively speaking, a lot of us human beings have got a short memory. All that we'll remember is their mistakes. Little do we point out to their sacrifice. Little do we point out to the risk that these men take. Some of us, our men, are working in the mines. We don't even cast a thought of what might happen. God forbid, what might happen. But this is a man every day who risks his life to go underground so that the children can have a better education, a better life than him. But all we can do is that men have failed us. I do not disagree. I agree. But let us look at the other side of the coin, the sacrifices that these men give us. Do you think it's easy to sacrifice your sleep 8 hours on a machine in the night to work just so that the family can be okay? Have you considered that sacrifice? And the real men do not cry. They'll just look at you and they'll say nothing. You see, when I say unsung heroes, we have celebrated celebrities so much. But I think we have got so much celebrities in our families, and these are men who do not speak, but they work in silence. They work in silence. How much do you appreciate the men? How much do you appreciate the men? In this podcast, I don't want to bring any politics of we start arguing, oh, men did this, they abandoned me. We are going to deal with that some other time. There is a specific topic for that. But on this podcast, I want us to focus on the sacrifices that men give and do. There are some men in your life that move long distance to get to a place of work so that we can have a comfortable life. Do we appreciate that? But what do we do all the time? It's a long list of demands. Even certain things that we can even handle on ourselves, but you just decide to heap it on a man. And when they fail, when they complain, they say, are you even a man enough? Why did you even start this? Really? Today, in this podcast, I want us to have a different mindset. I want us to have a different way of looking at men. I want us to have a different way of understanding men. Because that man that we are seeing is far more beyond the status. There are 3 things, but there are many more things. But in this podcast, I'm going to mention 3 things that makes a man. That makes a real man, actually. The first thing is that a man is a creator. So be patient with a man when a man is trying to create something. When the man is trying to build something, be patient with him. That is his nature. Number 2, what makes a man? It is his vision and his purpose. How much do we appreciate or listen to his voice? You know, certain men, they don't want you to listen to all details that they say. But sometimes just how much you get to appreciate his vision, how much you get to appreciate his purpose. Sometimes that is all they need. Number 3, what makes a man? It is his work. Now, when I mean work, I don't mean a job where he wakes up in the morning, go to a job of 8 hours, then come back. No. The kind of the work I mean is, what was he destined to be in his life? Do you appreciate that? So do you appreciate a man who is a creator? Do you appreciate a man who has got a vision and a purpose? Do you appreciate a man who, at all costs and at every cost, is trying by all means to work out things to have a better destiny, a better ending? Do we? Today, this podcast, The Unsung Heroes, I've just provoked the thought just to look at men. We have appreciated the women, and we love you women. We love you. We cherish you. We appreciate you. But I want us to look at the men. I want us to look at the men. That man that you have in your life. That man that is in your life. How much do you appreciate him? How much do you care for him? Today, deliberately, intentional, as a way of healing and saying sorry, I just want you to appreciate your man in your life. If you have got any, if you have got your father, if you have got your daddy near there, I want you to appreciate that man and just say, thank you for everything you have been doing. Thank you for the roof that you have given us over our head. Thank you for the food that you give us every time. And thank you for being our father. Thank you for the little that you have been trying. Daddy, we want to thank you. Some of you are not yet married, but some of you, there are certain men that have taken you to school. There are certain men that always provoke you. There are certain men that will always tell you that you can do this, you can do that. How much do you appreciate them? Today I want you to press a call and just say, you know what? I want to say thank you for pushing me to be a woman as I am today. Thank you for making me a son as I am today. Thank you for making me to be a daughter as I am today. Please, at your course, sometimes in life, let us learn to separate people's weakness and let us try to dig the good and the best in them. So today's podcast, The Unsung Heroes, I want you to dig out the good. Please, write a long list of the goods that the men have done in your life. Then you're going to see these are amazing people. I know you can write a book. You can write a dictionary, volume size kind of a book about the mistakes men have made. That is for later. For now, I want you to write the good things that the men have done in your life. If it is 3 or 5, I want you to look at them. Then I want you to tell them that I want to thank you for these 5 things, these 3 things that consistently you have been doing as a man. Let the men feel that they are counted in this society. Let the men feel that the sacrifice and the effort that they are putting in, they are well appreciated. Then we are going to have a better society. We are going to have a healed society, a healed church, and a healed nation. We can only have a healed church, a healed family, a healed nation, only when all the genders, male and female, a man and a woman, they are appreciated to their core. So which man do you need to appreciate today? Which unsung hero? You have a hero in your life, a hero in your life, but you have never recognized it. You have never even acknowledged it. Today, in this podcast, I want you to stand up, to go and face them and tell them, you know what, I don't have much to say, but I just want to say thank you for being a man. Thank you for not giving up of being a man. Don't give up. Don't kill yourself. Just take a break. We love you. We appreciate you. And we want to say thank you that you have been a man and you have never decided to change your gender. You have never decided to be transgender, with all due respect. You have never decided to be gay. But you, every day, no matter how much we shame you, you wake up in the morning, you go and dig and grit and do whatever you do and bring something on the table. You have been a man. We have not appreciated you enough, but today we want to say we love you and we appreciate you. They unsung heroes. That was our topic today.